Part of this is turning Taiwan into a porcupine. I think exporting our Second Amendment is a relatively free or low-cost way to do that. But I find it laughable that you will take that clip and then put words into my mouth as though that was a sufficient deterrent. Caitlin, with due respect, that's a joke.
So CNN's Caitlin Collins tries to craft a fake narrative about Vivek Ramaswamy to his face, and surprise, surprise, it ends up completely backfiring. I don't even know why they try to play these games with Vivek. He's obviously an expert when it comes to these interviews. They should have known better. And since this segment, he's been accused of mansplaining. There's a lot to unpack here. Let's go ahead and jump on in.
One thing that you will likely be asked about on Wednesday night is foreign policy. And you recently said that to protect Taiwan, you would do this.
Guess what? We'll put a gun in every Taiwanese household, train them how to use it. That is how you make Xi Jinping think twice.
Do you really think that would be a sufficient plan to deter a Chinese invasion if it includes long-range missiles, ground troops, an aerial blockade, a naval blockade?
Caitlin,
all of the different measures here?
Caitlin, of course it's not sufficient. You take that tiny little clip. When I've articulated it, the Nixon Library last week, a 1-hour speech with a whole range of deterrents. That is part of it.
So really quick, the speech that she just grabbed a clip from, okay? Just because I want to provide this context, just because it might not be clear just from this segment alone. But that is from the Joni Ernst's Roast and Ride event. This was 2 months ago. And Vivek at this event he was talking about China. He was talking about maybe getting them, getting our businesses to come back to the United States, getting their money out of America. And really, he just throws that bit in there. Basically, it's like an offhanded remark, pretty much just throwing that in there. Almost more to just show his support for the Second Amendment for the audience that's there. So he's not really talking about his plan for Taiwan. He's more of talking about China and then throws that in there. But this is 2 months ago. Vivek is bringing up the Nixon Library speech, which since then he has articulated his actual plan. He's spoken about his actual plan during speeches. So let's listen to what he has to say.
But I've also said that I would pull Russia out of its military alliance with China. I've also said that we would bolster our partnership with India to be able to close the Andaman Sea and the Malacca Strait. I've also said that we would actually send a signal very clearly that we will defend Taiwan, moving from strategic ambiguity to strategic clarity to say that we will defend Taiwan until we have semiconductor independence in this country. And so, yes, part of this is turning Taiwan into a porcupine. I think exporting our Second Amendment is a relatively free or low-cost way to do that. But I find it laughable that you will take that clip and then put words into my mouth as though that was a sufficient deterrent. Caitlin, with due respect, that's a joke, especially when I've offered as expansive of a deterrent strategy as I have.
It's not putting words into your mouth, and it's not saying that you didn't say those other things. It's just saying that you did say that part of your effort when it comes to Taiwan is giving people in Taiwan handguns.
She treats it as that is his plan. Makes it look crazy. He actually has laid out pretty clearly his plan to protect and defend Taiwan. This is the Nixon Library speech. And I wanted to check this out just to make sure that he actually was pretty in-depth. Everything that he was mentioning right there, he was talking about in this speech covered by Forbes. So it wasn't just some small speech that was in front of 10 people. No, this was pretty mainstream. Forbes has 2.1 million subscribers. It was covered by them. He posted it countless times. This was about, August 17th. He posted clips from this speech countless times on his Twitter page. So this wasn't like there's no room for that, oh, well, maybe CNN didn't know. First of all, it's their job. It's their job to figure this stuff out. They wanted to craft a narrative right here. And Caitlin wanted to say, is this really just, because a lot of these people are pretty anti-Second Amendment, is this really just your plan? As Vivek mentioned, it's a part of a porcupine strategy.
This is really funny, Caitlin. It's been very educational for me to learn how media works. Yes, that is important. No one ever said that was sufficient to deter an invasion. From India to Russia to what I've said we would do with moving Ohio-class SSGNs to the South China Sea and to the Indo-Pacific. This is the stuff of actual deterrence and also strategic clarity that we would actually defend Taiwan. Yes, I do think I am the president who best knows how to deter China from going after Taiwan before we've achieved semiconductor independence, which is the most important foreign policy accomplishment the next U.S. president can deliver.